Let me tell you something, you're not stuck. You're just comfortable thinking about it more than doing something about it. We've all done it. Planning, analyzing, imagining the perfect time. But there's no such thing. Thinking without doing is just mental procrastination dressed up as strategy. You want change, then move. You want strength, then train. You want respect, then earn it. You want results, then stop waiting and start grinding. Because here's the truth. The ones who win aren't the ones with perfect plans. They're the ones who outwork, outlast, and discipline the noise around them. You don't need a 5-year plan. You need to wake up tomorrow and do what you said you were going to do. Every single day is a rep, not just in the gym, in life, in your relationships, in your goals. And reps don't lie. They show up in your results. Discipline is louder than motivation. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire that stays lit, even when the lights go out. Overthinking is one of the most common, invisible traps in life. It masquerades as preparation, as wisdom, as intelligence. But behind the scenes, it's often nothing more than fear in disguise. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. And the longer we sit in our heads, cycling through the same thoughts again and again, the further we drift from the only thing that creates real change, action. You've probably felt it before, that loop in your mind where you say, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I just need to think it through a little more." So you plan, you imagine, you strategize, you gather all the information, read the books, watch the videos, even create a timeline. You do everything, except start. What you're doing is feeding the illusion of progress, but progress without movement is just mental comfort, and comfort doesn't get you anywhere. Comfort keeps you average. Overthinking kills momentum before it ever begins. It's the mental equivalent of flooring the gas pedal while the car's still in park. You're revving your engine, you're using fuel, you're making noise. But you're not going anywhere. You're still sitting in the same spot, watching others pass by because they had the courage to hit drive instead of pause. What separates winners from the rest isn't the perfection of their plans. It's their bias for action. It's their willingness to take a step without needing the whole staircase lit up. They're not reckless. They're just ready to move. They understand that motion brings clarity. You don't learn how to swim by reading about it. You learn by getting in the water. You get stronger by lifting the weight, not by watching someone else do it. You get braver by facing the thing that scares you, not by avoiding it with more thinking. When you overthink, you let fear negotiate your future. You hand the wheel to self-doubt and let it drive your decisions, and the worst part, you convince yourself you're being careful or smart, when really you're just delaying. You're playing it safe, and there is nothing safe about living a life half-executed. Here's the truth, no plan survives the first hit. Life will throw curveballs, your plan will break, you will get knocked down. And when that happens, you'll need more than a thought. You'll need action, adaptability, and resilience. But you don't build those traits in your head. You build them in the doing. Execution beats ideas. Every single time. You don't need to know every step. You don't need the perfect start. You just need to begin. The world doesn't reward the thinker who never moves. It rewards the doer who dares to act, even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Start now and refine as you go. Think about every person who has ever inspired you, every success story, every transformation. It wasn't their flawless plan that made them great. It was their refusal to sit still. They moved, they made decisions, they adjusted, and they kept going, even when they didn't have it all figured out. And that's what you need to do. Get out of your own way. Stop replaying the same doubts. Stop trying to predict every outcome. Stop waiting for a perfect time. It doesn't exist. Time isn't waiting for you to feel ready. Time doesn't care if you're confident. The clock is ticking whether you act or not. And inaction has a cost, a big one. Overthinking steals your energy. It wastes your most valuable resource, time. Every second you spend thinking without doing is a second you could have spent growing, building, becoming stronger, faster, more skilled, more experienced. There are lessons you will only learn by taking action, and the longer you avoid those lessons, the longer you delay your own evolution. Don't let analysis become paralysis. Don't let potential rot into regret. The people who move mountains aren't the ones who think about moving them. They're the ones who pick up the shovel and start digging. And if you want to see change in your life, in your body, your mindset, your career, your relationships, it starts when you stop thinking about it and start doing something about it. So don't overthink this message. Let it hit. Let it challenge you. Let it light a fire. The clock's ticking. Don't delay. There's a hard truth that most people avoid because it doesn't sound exciting or sexy. Motivation is overrated. It's unreliable, it's emotional, it's conditional. Motivation shows up when things are going well, when the sun is out, the path is clear, the energy is high. But the moment life gets inconvenient, messy, or hard, motivation disappears like smoke. And when that happens, the only thing that keeps you moving is discipline. Discipline is not based on how you feel. It's not dependent on your mood, the weather, or the playlist you put on in the morning. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired, upset, bored, or unmotivated. Discipline is showing up regardless. Discipline is the commitment you made to yourself on the days you felt strong, carried out on the days you feel weak. Motivation is that voice in your head that says, I want to do this. Discipline is the one that says, I have to do this. Not because someone's watching, not because of a reward, but because you've made it non-negotiable. Discipline is the execution of standards you set, not the emotions you feel. People often wait for the right mood or the right moment to start. But success doesn't come to the one who waits. It comes to the one who works, whether they feel like it or not. That's the difference between amateurs and professionals. Amateurs act when they're motivated. Professionals act no matter what. You want results, you want to level up, then understand this. Your emotions are irrelevant to your commitment. The world doesn't care how you feel today. It only responds to what you do. You either show up and put in the reps, or you don't. And if you want greatness, comfort is not part of the equation. Discipline is forged in routine. It's built in the quiet, boring, uncomfortable repetitions that no one claps for. The early alarms, the meals you prepare when you don't feel like cooking, the workouts you do when your body's screaming to rest, the studying you grind through when your brain wants to scroll and zone out. Those aren't motivational moments. Those are disciplined decisions, and they add up. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. Anyone can go hard for a day. Anyone can be motivated for a week. But can you do it again tomorrow? Can you do it next month? Can you show up when the novelty wears off, when the results aren't instant, when it's just you and the work? That's what separates people who talk about change from those who actually live it. Discipline doesn't need hype. It doesn't need external applause. It lives in silence. It thrives in solitude. Discipline is a decision, a choice you make every single day to do the thing that needs to be done, regardless of your internal resistance. It's the armor you wear when your feelings try to talk you out of progress. We all love motivation because it feels good. It makes you believe anything is possible, and it is, but only if you back it up with disciplined action. Motivation is the spark, discipline is the fuel. Sparks fade, fuel keeps burning. If you rely only on motivation, you'll always be starting over. But if you build discipline, you create momentum, and momentum compounds into transformation. You want to win. Then don't wait for inspiration. Create routine, make your habits stronger than your moods, set up systems that operate even when your drive is low, schedule your training, lock in your priorities, eliminate excuses before they appear. That's how you build a foundation that doesn't crumble when life gets heavy, because life will test you. Your willpower will be stretched. You'll have days when everything in you screams to take the easy road. And on those days, motivation will be nowhere to be found. That's when you either cave or carry forward. And discipline is the force that carries you. Here's what it comes down to. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your discipline, and that level is built over time, brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. So stop chasing motivation. It's fleeting, Build discipline. It's forever. Your goals are waiting. Your potential is watching. Now ask yourself, are you motivated or are you committed? Because there's a difference, and only one of them gets the job done. Hard work isn't something you rent. It's something you own. Every single day, and if you want success, real, lasting, earned success, you have to stop waiting for it to show up and start building it with your own hands. There is no shortcut, no hack, no secret formula. It's work, and not just any work. The hard kind, the unglamorous kind, the kind that most people run from, the kind that separates the talkers from the doers. Everyone wants to be successful. Everyone wants the recognition, the respect, the results. But very few are willing to pay the price in full and up front. They say they're waiting for the right moment. But success doesn't wait. It doesn't knock on your door and introduce itself. It shows up for the one who's already out there grinding before the world wakes up. The one who puts in reps when no one's cheering, the one who says, "I'll do it," and then actually follows through when it's cold, uncomfortable, and inconvenient. Hard work isn't loud. It doesn't beg for attention. It happens behind closed doors, away from the spotlight, where no one's clapping. And if you're serious about being great, if you're really about that life, you'll learn to love that space. The quiet grind. The early mornings, the late nights, the uncomfortable reps. That's where confidence is built. Not through hype, but through follow through. You keep your promises to others, right? Then why break them with yourself? If you say you're going to do something, wake up early, train, study, build, then do it. No excuses, no compromise, because you're self-respect is built every time you do what you said you'd do. The strongest people don't always talk about their discipline. They live it. It shows in their habits, in their routine, in the way they approach the day like a mission. Owning the hard work means taking full responsibility. No blaming. No victim mindset. Life will be unfair sometimes. Things will go wrong, but the moment you decide that your results are 100% on you, that's the moment you take your power back. The world owes you nothing. Your dream, it doesn't care how tired you are. It doesn't care how busy you are. It waits for no one. You want it, prove it, earn it. You can't fake work. You can't outsource effort. You can't delegate discipline. No one's going to do the push-ups for you. No one's going to study for you. No one's going to fix your habits, clean your mess, build your dream. That's on you, and that's a powerful thing, because it means you have control. You're not at the mercy of circumstances. You're in the driver's seat, but only if you choose to be. The ones who make it, they don't look for easy. They look for impact. They don't whine about the work. They embrace it, because they understand the grind is the gateway. The hard work is the shortcut. Every early morning you conquer, every rep you push through, every hour you spend doing the right thing when the wrong thing is easier. That's you casting your vote for the future you want. And it stacks, day by day, quietly, relentlessly, until one day the world looks at you and calls you lucky. But it wasn't luck. It was the weight you lifted in silence, the sacrifices you made when no one was watching. The pain you endured and didn't post about. It was the hard work that you owned when everyone else took the day off. And here's the truth most don't want to hear. Success isn't about being the most talented. It's about being the most committed, the most consistent, the most resilient. You don't need to be gifted to win. You need to be obsessed with showing up, doing the work, and not flinching when it gets tough. So stop looking for the easy way. There isn't one. Stop asking for permission. You don't need it. And stop hoping someone's going to come save you. They won't. This is your life, your goal, your vision, and it demands your full effort. Own the hard work, every rep, every early alarm, every uncomfortable choice. That's the price of greatness. You either pay it now, or you pay it later with regret. Your move, life isn't fair. It never promised to be. It doesn't care about your plans, your mood, or how hard you tried yesterday. It will test you. It will knock you down. It will throw punches you didn't see coming. But the question isn't whether you'll get hit. It's what you'll do after. Will you stay on the mat, blaming the world, looking for sympathy? Or will you get back up, adjust your stance, and swing harder? Excuses are easy. They sound good. They give you a reason to stay where you are. But that's all they do. They don't solve anything. They don't push you forward. They don't build anything. Excuses are the comfort food of failure, satisfying in the moment, but destructive in the long run. Winners don't feed on that. They feed on truth, on action, on accountability. You don't control everything that happens to you, but you always control your response. Always. That's your power. And the minute you start owning that, everything changes. You stop playing the victim and start playing to win. When life hits, you don't cry about it. You adjust, you pivot, you learn, you take the hit, absorb it, and figure out how to hit back harder next time. That's the mindset of someone who refuses to be broken by circumstance. Someone who doesn't need things to be perfect. They just need a path forward. Someone who understands that setbacks aren't signs to quit. They're signals to adapt. Excuses are rooted in emotion. Adjustments are rooted in discipline. The difference is simple. One focuses on the problem, the other focuses on the solution. One keeps you stuck, the other keeps you moving. You can't do both. You can't hold onto your excuses and expect to grow. Something has to go, either your excuses or your goals. The truth is, life doesn't pause so you can recover. It keeps moving. And if you want to keep up, you need to stay sharp. You need to stay flexible. Rigidity breaks. Adaptability wins. That means being willing to step back, reframe, re-strategize, and move again. That's not weakness. That's intelligence backed by toughness. The people who win aren't the ones who avoid pain. They're the ones who respond to it with power, who don't let it define them, who don't waste time pointing fingers or waiting for someone to fix it. They take ownership, even of the unfair stuff. Because when you own it, you control it. And when you control it, you can change it. Let's get real. Things will go wrong. Plans will fall apart. People will disappoint you. You will fail, you will get tired, you will question whether it's worth it. That's all part of the game, but you can't let those moments shape your identity. You're not what happened to you. You are what you decide to become next. When life tests you, you don't need a pity party. You need a strategy. You need to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I adapt? What's the next best move? That's how winners think. They don't spend time explaining why they couldn't. They spend time figuring out how they still can, and no, it's not always going to be pretty. Adjustments aren't perfect. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it's painful. But progress doesn't need to be elegant. It just needs to be real. If you have to crawl, crawl. If you have to rebuild from scratch, do it. But don't make excuses. Don't stop swinging. Don't let one punch convince you the fight's over. Your life is your responsibility. Your goals, your growth, your grit. It's all on you, and that's a good thing, because it means you're not powerless. You're in control, no matter how chaotic things get. And that control comes from your ability to adjust, to bounce back, to rise up every single time life tries to break you. You either evolve or you get left behind. It's that simple. So drop the excuses, burn the script that says I can't because, and replace it with I will even if. That's the difference. That's the mindset. That's how champions move. So when life hits, and it will, don't complain, don't shrink, don't wait for things to get easier. Just adjust your stance, grit your teeth, and swing back. Because this isn't about avoiding the storm. It's about becoming the one who can fight through it. No excuses, just adjustments, always. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's not gifted. It's not handed out. It's earned. And the way you earn it isn't by talking about it, thinking about it, or waiting until you feel ready. You earn confidence by doing, repeatedly, relentlessly, whether you feel like it or not, whether you feel prepared or not. Confidence is a byproduct of action, not the requirement for it. Too many people are sitting on the sidelines of their lives waiting to feel confident. Before they take the leap, waiting until they believe they're good enough, waiting until it's easy. That day never comes because belief doesn't show up first. It shows up after you've shown up for yourself, after you've put in the reps, after you've faced resistance and moved through it. That's where confidence lives. Confidence is built in repetition, in the early mornings when it's just you and your commitment, in the workouts you push through when your mind tells you to quit, in the speeches you give with shaky hands, in the risks you take while fear screams in your ear. Each rep is a vote for who you are becoming, and the more votes you cast, the harder it becomes to doubt yourself. It doesn't matter if you're the most talented, the smartest, or the most experienced. If you don't put in the reps, you'll never own your potential. There is no shortcut, no mindset trick, no motivational quote can substitute for consistent, focused effort. Confidence is the reward for doing the work over and over again, especially when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's inconvenient, especially when no one's watching. People think confidence is about being loud or bold or fearless. It's not. True confidence is quiet. It's built on evidence, and that evidence comes from repetition. From proving to yourself that you can follow through, that you can improve, that you can endure discomfort and keep moving. Every time you show up when it's hard, you reinforce the identity of someone who doesn't quit. And that identity is the core of real confidence. You don't get confidence by sitting around wishing you had it. You get it by standing up and doing the thing, again and again, until it becomes part of you, until what once felt impossible becomes routine, until what used to scare you becomes something you eat for breakfast. And that transformation doesn't come from hope. It comes from hustle, from stacking reps, from embracing failure as feedback, not a finish line. You want to be more confident, stop waiting, start working, show up even when your voice shakes, push the weight even when it feels heavy, speak up even when your mind is full of doubt. Because the only way to build belief is to prove to yourself, through your actions, that you're capable, that you're worthy, that you're dangerous when focused. Confidence doesn't come from winning every time. It comes from being willing to try every time. It comes from knowing you won't break if you fail. From realizing that even if you mess up, you're the type of person who learns, who adapts, who comes back stronger. That's what reps do. They give you the resilience to keep going, the toughness to face challenge, and the clarity to know that fear doesn't get the final say. You do. Repetition makes it real. It makes it automatic. And over time, it makes you unstoppable, because when you've stacked enough reps, when you've earned your stripes, you walk into the room differently, you speak differently, you train, work, move differently. Not out of arrogance, but out of certainty. You know what you've done. You know who you are. And that kind of confidence doesn't waver when things get hard. It gets sharper. So stop trying to feel ready. You'll never feel fully ready. The mind will always come up with reasons to hold back. That's its job. Protect, delay, avoid risk. But your job is to move anyway, to show up anyway, to do the work despite the fear, the doubt, the discomfort. That's what separates the confident from the hesitant, the ones who act, regardless of how they feel. Because the truth is simple, you don't wait for confidence, you work for it. You earn it one rep at a time. And when you stack enough of those reps, day by day, brick by brick, you stop needing external validation. You stop questioning yourself every step of the way. You become the kind of person who doesn't just hope to win, you expect to win. Because you've done the work, because you've become the proof. Confidence doesn't come before the work, it comes from the work. So get the reps in and let the results speak. Everyone wants to be remembered. Everyone wants to leave their mark, but legacy isn't built in front of cameras. It's not built on stages or in highlight reels. Legacy is built in the dark, when no one is clapping, no one is watching, and no one is handing out trophies. It's built in the hours you grind before the world wakes up and long after it goes to sleep. It's the work you do when motivation is gone and discipline is the only thing carrying you forward. Greatness isn't found in the spotlight. It's forged in silence, in solitude, in the cold early mornings when the bed is warm but you rise anyway. In the late nights when your body's tired but you show up one more time because the mission isn't finished. That's where legacy is carved, when quitting is an option, but you choose to stay in the fight. The world sees the end result. They see the success, the win, the applause, but they don't see what it took to get there. They don't see the nights you cried and kept going, the sacrifices, the injuries, the loneliness, the mental battles you fought when no one else knew. And that's what makes a legacy powerful. Not just what you accomplished, but how you earned it. What you endured, who you became in the process. Legacy doesn't come from talent alone. Plenty of talented people never finish what they start. It comes from grit, from relentless effort in the absence of recognition, from choosing consistency over comfort every single day. It's not about how loud you are. It's about how long you last. It's about how well you can perform when there's no one watching to validate you. If you're doing it for applause, you won't last. If you're doing it for likes, followers, or fame, you'll fold the moment it gets hard. But if you're doing it because it matters to you, because your standard is higher than anyone else's, then you're on the right track. That's how legacies are born, quietly, privately, in the trenches. There are no shortcuts, no fast tracks, no cheat codes. Legacy is the compound interest of sacrifice and effort. Every early morning you show up, every rep you push through, every distraction you say no to, it all adds up. One brick at a time, one decision at a time. It's not glamorous, it's not flashy, but it's real, and real work never lies. You build your legacy when you show up after failure, when everything in you says, "I'm done," and you dig deeper anyway. When you stay committed to your standards even when no one's holding you accountable. That's what defines a legacy. Not just achieving something big, but sustaining greatness when no one else would have kept going. You want to be remembered? Then stop waiting for the world to notice you. Get to work in the dark. Get addicted to progress no one sees. Be the person who moves with urgency when no one's chasing them. Who sets the alarm when there's no deadline. Who holds the line when everyone else folds. That's the blueprint for legacy. When you work in the dark, you develop something most people never touch. Inner power, the kind of strength that doesn't need attention, the kind of confidence that doesn't need permission, the kind of focus that doesn't break under pressure, because you've already tested yourself in silence. You've already fought the inner war and won. The truth is, when it's all said and done, your legacy won't be written by what people thought of you. It'll be written by the habits you built, the impact you made, the lives you touched, and most of that work, the most important work, happens far away from any audience. It happens when no one's telling you good job. It happens when you decide that what you're building matters more than how it feels in the moment. So embrace the dark. Embrace the grind. That's your proving ground. That's where discipline becomes identity. That's where vision becomes reality. That's where your name starts to mean something. Not because it's trending, but because it carries weight. Every choice you make in the dark either adds to your legacy or takes from it. So choose wisely. Keep showing up. Keep building, not for attention, but for purpose, for impact, for something bigger than yourself. Because real legacy isn't built when it's easy. It's built when it's hard, and it's built when no one's watching.